Number 4 is fruit or flowers. So that sounds
Fruit?
That sounds like edible arrangement. That sounds terrible.
Terrible.
Number 5 is wood. Let me tell you something, everybody.
Hey.
She's getting the wood every anniversary. Oh, that was about my dick.
Bros and hoes. You're listening to Your Favorite Thing podcast with
Wells and Brandi. Okay, I was telling the wife 2 years before. I got the studio's almost done.
looking
I painted
great.
the walls.
I love the green.
Me too. I'm thinking not to have anything on this wall, so it's just like nothing behind me,
I like that.
or maybe it'll be like farther over or whatnot.
Because I watched something you did, and there was like the master's plaque on the wall, but it was like a corner of it, and it was very distracting.
Yeah, so that's gonna be here. Let's see if I can do this.
Uh-huh.
See, there's my couch.
Yep.
There's a master plaque.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, I'm very excited. I got a new computer.
An Apple, like a Mac?
Yes, a Mac. Because
Wow.
I've been living in the PC world because back in my radio days, I had to use that for iHeart,
You did.
and now I got a Mac, and it's amazing.
Welcome to the future.
I know. I mean, I have a Mac for like my laptop, but now I'm just living my best life right now. Anyway, so I'm very excited. Like, this is the most excited I've been in a long time. I got the carpet in, the rug,
Ooh.
the rug.
rug.
I got the Chesterfield.
Ooh.
So when you come, you can sit there.
How nice.
And yeah. So and I'm just waiting for the desk.
Mm.
Once the desk comes in, everything will be ready to roll.
What are you drinking?
Have myself a little Pacifico Clara.
A little what is today? Tuesday?
It's
night
Tuesday.
beer?
Listen, I'm on a beer train these days.
Okay.
I find that I can drink beer and
Mm-hmm.
I don't get drunk. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds.
So you don't get hungover either, is that what you're saying?
Exactamundo, Sister Ann.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm really looking for. I'm looking for something to do,
Okay.
and then I want to feel good tomorrow.
What about a poppy?
By the way, none of these things are sponsored,
Mm-mm.
and they should be.
Should be.
It's frustrating.
I know. I drink one of these almost every episode.
Really?
I like having something to drink.
Yeah.
Don't need alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And these are really yummy and supposedly good for you. So I don't know.
I told you that I haven't had caffeine in like 2 weeks, right?
I know.
Still haven't.
And doing great?
Yeah.
Guess so.
Let me tell the wife here something, guys. Decaf coffee still makes you shit.
Yeah, but it's not as good.
It's not, but yeah, I don't know. I'm sleeping better, and I think that's the key. That's what's important.
That's good.
You know.
That is important.
Anyways, how you doing?
I'm chilling.
Yeah, that's all you got.
Chilling. It finally got cold here.
Oh, it did. You finally are getting
Yeah.
the season.
We're getting a season. It's cloudy, dreary, been drizzling. It's in the 50s, just that typical like blah
Mhm.
Tennessee weather
Gotcha.
that we're known for. Yeah.
All right.
So it's fine, it's fine. So I'm just chilling. Just been cleaning the house today, doing laundry. Someone's got to run this household. Someone's got to provide for these fucking dogs that live in this castle.
Why don't you get a housekeeper?
So I have one. She comes every 2 weeks.
Oh, 2
and
weeks.
does like a deep clean. Yeah, I know. I mean, housekeepers are expensive.
Totally.
Once every 2 weeks, she comes and does a deep clean. So your girl has to, do a little cleaning here and there, in between.
You're like an everyman.
I really am. I do it all.
You do it all. Wow. You're like the Bruce Springsteen of podcasters.
know.
All right. Well, let's see. Last night, Sarah and I celebrated our six-year anniversary from becoming boyfriend-girlfriend.
That's a long time.
I know. We both realized that it's the longest relationship either of us have ever been in.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
So there's that.
As it should be.
Yeah. Yeah,
Where
sure.
did those 6 years go? I feel like you guys have not been together that long.
I know. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
But yeah, we debuted our relationship at your house.
Sure did.
Halloween.
That was an epic party. Like
was a good
one of maybe the best party I've ever thrown.
Really?
It was a good one.
Yeah. All right.
a good one. There were some fights, you know, girls pulling each other's hair.
Was there?
Yes.
I don't remember that.
It was fun.
We were really celebrating like our 1 year anniversary, but she was in Fiji doing Love Island, so we kind of like pushed it to like, well, let's just do it when our like dating anniversary was. But you know what the first year anniversary gift is?
No.
Paper.
Huh.
Yeah, it's pretty weak. We went through it all last night, like all of the anniversary gifts.
What's 6?
You want me to look it up?
Yeah. Shouldn't you know if this is your 6th year?
No, because it was our first year married.
Ew, and that's how you do these things?
Yeah, that's how it works.
Mm.
Okay, so first year.
Paper. I said, give me some money.
Yeah, well, I think the idea is, first of all, I think this list had come out so long ago that like some of these like precious metals were much more important than they are now. But I think the idea
valuable.
was originally like the first like 14 are cheap items because you're poor when you first get married, and then
for 14 years you're poor.
I guess I don't know, but like so. Let me just okay. So number 1 is paper. So
Okay.
I got Sarah this notepad.
Cute.
That says take notes, and it says the Addams Family, and it's a picture of us.
Adorable.
Right. And then she got me a picture framed from our wedding that's going to go up here. But number 2 is cotton, the touch, the feel of cotton. Okay. I guess sheets. Ooh.
No, you don't want cotton sheets.
A t-shirt? I don't even know what that is.
Huh.
Number 3 is leather. Okay, that could be good. It could be like a bag of some sort. Okay. Number 4 is fruit or flowers. So that sounds like edible arrangement. That sounds terrible.
Terrible.
Number 5 is wood. Let me tell you something, everybody.
Hey.
She's getting the wood every anniversary. Oh, that was about my dick. Let's see. 6 is candy or iron. Those two are not the same thing.
No.
Number 7 is wool or copper. Okay. A sweater, I guess.
Weird.
Number 8 is pottery or bronze.
Okay.
I don't even know what they make bronze into these days.
Really, not a whole lot.
Yeah. It's not until 60, anniversary 60, I think, that it's diamonds. You got to wait. That's a long con to get them diamonds.
I was going to say, did people even live that long back then?
No, fuck no. Maybe it's 30. I don't even know. Anyways.
Fascinating.
No, it is 60. 60 is diamond. I'll do the good ones. 55 is emerald.
That's a good one.
53 is plastic. I guess maybe a credit card or something.
Huh.
42nd is clocks or watches. That could be expensive and nice.
Yeah.
You know, 36 is antiques. I like that because like you're old at that point. You're like, let's go antiquing together, baby. So anyways, we did that. That was fun. And now we're here.
Cute.
Should we show the show?
Mm-hmm.
Is it me or you?
I don't know. Was it me?
Go for it. I don't care.
Okay. Bros and hoes, you're listening to your favorite thing podcast.
Wells and Brandi. We are officially on the YouTube.
We've been saying that for 3 weeks.
Yes, but I went and looked. Like it is, we have subscribers. We have like 400 and something subscribers.
Okay,
so
great.
YFTers, we're gonna need more of you guys to do that.
Yes, we are.
Even
if you don't want to watch it, can you just go subscribe?
Just go subscribe and then also watch probably.
Also could watch, yeah.
Also, I mean, like you get much more content in the YouTube thing than you do from the show.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I will say, now that I have backed off the Botox a bit,
Mhm.
my facial expressions are very entertaining.
Yeah. Well, and it's usually just in contrast to the stupid shit I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did see that there was one video that had like a bunch of views, so I think that's good.
Oh, great.
Yeah. But anyways.
Great news for us.
Yeah, if you want to go watch or listen to the podcast over there, go for it. I don't know.
Mhm.
But we're over there. Type in your favorite thing podcast and then subscribe, please.
Yes, please.
By the way, I went and looked at some more fuck you very muches, and then a lot of people were like, no, we like the BIP reviews.
Oh,
so I'm gonna do the same thing. I'll tell you kind of when this ends. I really don't know the exact time because of ads and stuff, but I'll give you a ballpark.
Okay.
Because I realized last episode I said 28 minutes and it was like 31 because of ads. I didn't realize that. So I'll ballpark you there, bud.
Ballpark it.
But let's talk about some BIP 9 Ep 4.
I feel like a lot happened.
It felt like a very long episode.
It did feel very long.
I was like, geez, this is taking forever. And not in a bad way. I was just like, a lot of things were happening.
Lots.
So it kind of starts with John Henry coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And he is the most nervous person I've ever seen come onto that show.
Very nervous.
It was kind of endearing, if I'm being honest.
I liked it.
But like him pulling out the card and he's just like, you know?
Yeah, it was something.
It was, he was just got done jackhammering. So he asks out Olivia, which is kind of surprising to me.
Well,
okay.
It was, except when he said that Kylie was his number one, that was surprising to me. And I'm like, oh,
yeah,
okay. Now I know his type. So then but you know what? I was really surprised that Kylie didn't get asked on the date because I was shocked that she said she was open to going because I thought she was all in on Avon. And then she's sitting here telling John Henry, like, no, we're open.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that Avon knows that you're open, but sure. So I thought for sure she would get asked. But then I think he ended up talking to Olivia. And I think Olivia is his type also. And she's beautiful. And I actually think that she's so extroverted that it's a really good balance for him.
Yeah.
Like where Kylie's kind of quieter and more introverted too. Like maybe they would have gone on a date and it would have been very silent. I think Olivia was a great choice.
I don't disagree with that. I just feel like Olivia just wants to hook up with someone so badly. Like, and that's not, I'm not putting her down or anything. I just feel like she's just like, I just need to go on a fucking date. Like, I just feel like that's what her like energy is.
Uh-huh.
So I'm so glad that she finally gets to go on a date. And also like, why were the masseuses there? You guys didn't do anything.
No, they didn't do anything.
All you did was set up the table. Fucked up because it broke.
They broke, which was funny.
Yeah, that was a good bit. I like that. But I was like, John Henry was so nervous. I was like, is he gonna make out with this chick or not? Like, what's gonna happen here? You know?
I know, but then once he went in for the kiss, he was kind of like forward about it.
Yeah,
in a good way.
Yeah, it's very true. Anyway, so that date's over. But then Olivia, what happened to Peter? Like, I thought you were into Peter. You know?
Mm-hmm.
How quickly things change here in Paradise. I can't even keep up with it.
Okay, but here's the weird thing for me is that she and Peter hadn't even kissed.
I know. I thought that was very weird too.
Very strange.
And then it was like when she comes back and she tells Peter how like great of a time it was, then it was like Peter's like, well, now I guess I got to make out with her. Like I got to catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah. John B comes in.
Uh-huh.
And asks Eliza, are you surprised that Eliza goes on the date?
Very.
Me too, actually.
And not to be like negative about John B, but John B, like you're gonna risk things with Aaron for John B? It was just weird.
Okay, so you're surprised that Eliza goes on the date.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because John B is just kind of like quiet and dorky. I'm like, that's who you're going to risk it for? Like, no offense to John B. I'm sure he's very nice. But it's not like, I'm trying to think like who, could come down that I would be like.
But Tyler Cameron.
I mean, sure. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like someone that like everyone likes.
Like just somebody like, I don't know, or not that he's single, but like Matt James, like somebody like a former Bachelor, just somebody like, like a hot commodity. But instead, like John B comes down and she's like, yeah. And like, it looked like they had a great time. And like, I'm concerned. Yeah, it was weird because she's so concerned about having the thing that happened to her last season happen again, right? Which is like getting into a love triangle and then like things going wrong. So why would you say yes to this date? I don't know. And like both Aaron and Peter did the thing that I think is the right thing to do, which is to say, hey, I don't want you to go on the date. Yes.
selfishly, don't go. But if you do go, that's fine. But I do not want you to go because in the past, people were like, "You got to do what you got to do," you know, and then they use that against them. They're like, "Well, you didn't even care that I went on the date." So I think they both did the right thing of being like, "I don't want you to go, but like, you are an adult. Go forth if you must," you know. Aaron B comparing to her charcuterie board, I thought was interesting. You know?
Very, very.
Of all like the most beautiful quotes in the world, you know? That wasn't Shakespeare-esque.
No.
But, I mean, who doesn't love a charcuterie board?
I mean, everybody loves one.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, I'm very confused about Eliza and her decision making. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was a bad call. If you're asking me, but I don't know. So yeah, I mean, like, so obviously Peter and Olivia's kiss, not only was it like playing catch up, but I feel like it was super awkward.
Super awkward. And I thought she and, is it John Henry? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Had like smoking hot chemistry.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how do you go from that to like this kiss with what's his face and be like, oh, I don't know what to do. Obviously, you choose John Henry. Obviously.
Well, why? I mean, Peter's a very handsome guy with a very good job.
Yeah, and like tattoos. He's edgy, even though he's so sweet.
No. That's John Henry. I'm talking about Peter, the pilot.
Oh, Peter. You think that's a good job? I don't.
A pilot?
I think it's a horrible job.
Well, it's like he makes well over 6 figures a year.
I mean, that's fine, but you're never going to see him, and he's going to have ample opportunity to cheat on you when he's staying in hotels with flight attendants.
Yeah,
like,
interesting take, I suppose.
Probably not ideal.
But
the only good thing about that job is the flight benefits.
Yeah. So, you win some, you lose some here. Yeah, he's fucking around on me, but I get to fly for free.
True.
Okay, so then the next thing that happens is I unveil the truth box. And I think that so here's what I think about the truth box. People started to realize that the truth was going to come out because of this box. So they started doing things so they could be in front of it.
Totally, which is kind of smart.
I think it was, we had gotten to a little bit of a lull in the season where like people were just like, everyone knew Sean liked Jess, right? Like, of
course,
everyone did. And he wasn't acting upon it. And we're like, okay, you're running out of time here. Like, I don't know what you think you're doing here. And that was a very good example of like, oh shit, people are going to be like, Sean isn't really into Rachel. He's into Jess. And so he was like, okay, I got to go talk to her, so that he immediately goes and gets Jess. Right.
Yeah.
And it is, first of all, like, I love Jess to pieces. But she's just like a naturally awkward person.
Totally.
Like, just wears kind of everything on her face. Like, she can't hide her emotions. And Sean being like, so are you saying there's a chance? And she's like, basically like, no, there's no chance.
Like 0.
Yeah. It was so beautifully awkward. I loved it.
Yeah, it was good.
It was.
It was really good.
I think it was my favorite thing that's happened with Jess thus far.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Then Rachel gets so mad.
So mad.
Do you think that she was like too mad?
Nah.
Yeah.
I don't. And I love, like, she's pretty fiery. Like, I really like that about her. And look, but like, I'm just shocked that Brayden didn't get like more backlash from what he did than he did.
Yeah.
I feel like he got off real easy because that was a dirty move, even though it was the right thing to do for Rachel.
Yeah.
Like it was a little sleazy. It was a little like old Brayden from The Bachelorette, you know?
I agree.
And I think he knew that too. Like as soon as he did it, I think he was like, fuck.
Well, I think that he was like, I don't have a rose coming from anybody.
Yeah.
I do like Rachel. And then he was like, and I never liked that Sean guy.
Yeah.
And I will say this in defense of Brayden. Sean was talking about it a lot. Like he came to the bar and was talking about it in front of people.
And how did no one tell Rachel this until now is my question. Like none of the girls even.
I think a lot of it was they both were under the impression that things weren't serious. Like
Rachel and Sean?
Yes.
Sure.
And so like his thing of like, I don't want to hurt her feelings, you know, she likes me. I think I think that's where Rachel was annoyed.
By being like, she's the one that's like so in love with me, but when they had the understanding that it was casual.
Yeah, and I don't think
that makes sense.
She wasn't mad that like he went and talked to Jess. I think she was mad because she was like, I'm not butthurt that you like somebody else. Like, don't make this like a thing. So that's what I think it was. But,
interesting.
But yeah, I do think that it was a dirty dog move on Brayden's part. But I will say this. It pays off in the end. Like, all of a sudden, it's like super hot and heavy with Brayden and Rachel.
Yeah, and I love them together, actually.
I do too. And like,
yeah.
So here's the thing. Like, like her makeout session with Brayden was so much sexier and more romantic than ever it was with Sean.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And I also did something that like I never saw it. Like I knew that they had made out, but I didn't see it in person. It gave Rachel like a good moment, which I think that she deserves, like as an ex-Bachelor and like having the whole like Hannah thing come down and her being like, I'm the Bachelorette. What the fuck is, you know, like that always rubbed me the wrong way. And I was like, okay, good. I'm glad that she's getting a moment. It's real sexy. It's real. She's having a good time, you know?
Yeah.
Will it last? Who knows? It's
probably
Brayden.
not.
It's Brayden.
But yeah, but it's fine for now.
I don't know. Like and this is the other thing. This is like, you know, the producer cap that I put on of like when I watch the show. Brayden does give good TV. Like those are really good acts he gave. Like he fucked over Sean
for sure.
Which like someone probably needed to do. It probably should have been a girl that did it, but whatever. And then like he goes and gets hot and heavy with the ex-Bachelorette. Like it was chef's kiss, right?
Yeah.
Aaron B is fucking losing it this entire time, by the way. And then I think we have to get into like this cat is just unraveling.
She's looking real bad.
So she unravels kind of before the truth box gets really exposed, right? Like, so she's just like freaking out over, what was she even angry about? She was angry at Aaron S. eventually.
I can't remember what she was upset about to begin with.
Yeah, all I know is that, so Aaron S. takes my truth box and he fucking slams it on the floor.
Yeah, where'd that anger come from? And also, we never talked about, why didn't he just leave with Sam?
Because I think that he's hoping she comes back.
Well, that's stupid. He should have just gone with her.
I agree. But I think if she shits in a window, she can
before
come
actually
back.
Going home.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I think that was the thought of like, okay, hold on, let's just get her to the hospital maybe. Like, let's see if we can get her to shit. And then if she can, she can come back. I think that's why he stayed. I agree. It would have been more romantic if he was like, I'm in this with you.
Much more.
Yeah.
Better story.
Yeah. And hindsight's 20/20 and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I remember when he did all that and I was like, I'm very confused as to why you're so angry.
Yeah.
I think it had to do with some of my margaritas.
Fair.
And I think he got angry because he started to realize that he was going to go home because she wasn't coming back.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit, the way that he kind of explained it to me was, I was really open and honest with her and with everyone, and I'm getting fucked over, and everyone here is not being honest with each other, and that's bullshit. And if I have to leave, everyone has to fucking hear the truth real quick. Because I did read out like some very like blasé, fun one. I was trying to lighten the mood.
No,
you know?
I know. And then he was like, fuck this shit.
Yeah. And because, listen, he knew, like, the big one is that, like, Kat's using Tanner and, you know, just like she did with Braden and yada, yada, yada. And I don't know if he's the one who wrote that, but he definitely keyed in on finding those Kat ones.
Yeah, I feel like he did write them.
I don't know. Who knows who wrote them? I will say this. I read through all of them, obviously. It was like my job at the end of the night to like read through them and everything. They were different handwritings with like the Kat thing. Like it was, I think people were very, what's the right word?
Was it a girl's handwriting or a guy's?
I think it was guys that were not sold on Kat.
Okay.
Wasn't there one that was like Jess, Kat's not your friend?
Yes.
Which is interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, so Kat absolutely fucking loses it and is screwed. Like, I remember where she's doing those interviews is kind of far away from my bar. She is screaming at the top of her lungs, and we all were like, just like looking up and like, Jesus Christ, she is spiraling.
Yeah, it's not a good look. That's all I have to say about that.
Now, I did see a Instagram post that she did that said, everyone's giving me crap for not saying and talking to Braden before I left. I really did. They didn't show that part. And they only showed like a bunch of things making me look bad. And I don't know if that's true or not. And if it is, then that sucks. But
I mean, it does, but it doesn't change the fact that she's still saying the things they are airing in the tone that she's saying them. It just comes across like very like pompous, I guess. And like, I don't know, like she can do no wrong. She's just like up on this pedestal and like everybody else, is like bullshit and like whatever. Like that's the vibe it's giving. And it's just not a great look.
Yeah. I think the thing that she needs to take away from all of this is that like you have to allow people to express their feelings to you. Even if you
without getting mad.
Yeah, like
and dismissive.
Yeah, that's not fair.
No.
But anyways, I will say this: there's much more to come with our friend Kat.
I'm a little surprised that Mercedes is having such a hard choice between Tyler and Will.
Yeah.
I thought for sure she would just be like Tyler 100%, and she seems like a little torn, which is interesting. I feel like there was somebody else. Is there somebody else that's like torn?
I think Olivia's torn.
Well, yeah, but that one's.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, so very interesting. I'm interested to see, like, they leave us on that cliffhanger of like who's coming down to the beach or whatnot. So interesting to see who that is.
It's female legs, I can tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
So
I did notice that.
The Paradise Gods have answered the call from Sean and Aaron S.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm kind of ready for Sean to go home.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Kind of ready.
All right. Is that everything for Bachelor?
I think so.
All right. You still having fun with it?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, good episode. I wish you got more TV time.
I know. Listen.
My only complaint.
I know. I was supposed to read out all those things, and then the motherfucker broke my box and did my job for me.
That was so crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
There's been a couple episodes where I'm like, you didn't need to put me in this episode for what you used me for, but you had to pay me. Okay.
Fine by you.
Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. You got some fave things, bro, or what?
Yeah, bro.
Okay.
I started a new show. It's an Apple Plus show. It's called Lessons in Chemistry.
Okay.
Do you know anything about it?
I do not.
Oh. It's Brie Larson is the lead. It's her new show. I'm pretty sure this is a book based on a book. And I have not read the book, but I think it's like a pretty popular book. And I didn't really know anything about this show. I maybe watched a preview and saw that it was like she's like a scientist or whatever, but I really went into it with like no knowledge of anything.
Okay.
I'm obsessed with it.
Okay.
It's so good. I mean, Brie's amazing, right? We loved her in Room. She's an amazing actress, but she's so good in this. It's set in the 50s, I believe. And She does play a scientist. It's like she's got her degree in science, and then the place she works, basically, like she's the only female with the degree. And they kind of tell you in episode 1 that like all the other scientists in the building who are men also have a PhD, but she does not. And so it's like this question of like, well, if you got your science degree, like why didn't you get your PhD? And there's like a big question mark there. But like a lot of, this is about like gender discrimination back then, and people don't take her seriously because she's a girl. And even the women in the office that she works at, like most of them are like receptionists and stuff. They treat her like shit, because she is smarter than them, and they just tear her down for it and whatnot. But there's this other scientist that's in the building who's like famous. I guess he's like won awards or something, but he's a total weirdo. And she ends up, it's not really spoiling anything. Like she ends up working with him. He like at first like is like really intrigued by her, and then finds out real quickly like, oh my gosh, like she is so smart, and they start working together on something, and it's just so good. It's like you kind of get like a little bit of everything with this show, and every episode, well, there's only 2 out, but each episode has ended on like the biggest cliffhanger where you're just like, oh my God, I have to watch the next one. And now you have to wait a week, but they've just done a really good job with it. I love it very much.
Set in the 1950s, Elizabeth Zott's dream of being a chemist is put on hold when she finds herself pregnant, alone, and fired from her lab. Lessons in Chemistry. Streaming on Apple Plus. All right. I mean, listen, it's... What's her name?
Brie Larson.
It's Brie Larson. It's gotta be somewhat good, right?
It's good.
Yeah.
And then who does it say who plays the guy scientist?
Joshua Hoover?
Is that his name? I feel like he's been in some other things, but...
Oh, Lewis Pullman?
Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah.
What else has he been in?
He has been in Outer Range and Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, Top Gun. Okay, that makes sense. Anyway, it's so good.
I got a spooky show for you.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. Yeah, so Mike Flanagan is also the guy that did like The Haunting of Hill House and all of those like spooky things.
Loved those.
Yeah. And it's the same cast. By the way, Mike Flanagan only uses the same people in like so much so that like someone did a TikTok and they were like, look, he just uses the same people.
I mean, a lot of directors do that. Peter Berg uses a lot of the same actors over and over.
For sure. So were you ever a big Edgar Allan Poe fan?
Not really, but I mean, I'm obviously familiar.
Yeah. Anyways, this is one of his poems, The Fall of the House of Usher. And so they made this into a modern day horror story.
Cool.
To secure their fortune and future, 2 ruthless siblings build a family dynasty that begins to crumble when their heirs mysteriously die one by one. The Fall of the House of Usher on Netflix. It's so fucking good.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Yeah. It's all the same people that have been in everything. Carla Guino, I don't know if I can know. Henry Thomas, Bruce Greenwood. Anyways, everyone from of all those movies and all those shows, they're back, and it is very, very good. And it's just in time for spooky season. And also, side note, Elon Gale has another cameo. Remember, he was like the plumber in Haunting of Hill House. He's once again a plumber for like one scene for some reason.
That's hilarious.
And then his fiancee Molly, who was in Castle and she's an amazing actress, she's in it for like a good solid chunk of it. So,
nice.
Here's hoping.
They're not married yet?
No.
What the heck?
And it's coming soon, actually. Another wedding. It's coming. It's actually, I think it's actually far down the road. But, anyways, very, very good. Highly recommend.
I will definitely watch that.
Yeah.
I went on a pretty long rant about it on Sorry We're Stoned this week, but Love is Blind released the reunion episode, and it's pretty juicy. So if you've been watching Love is Blind, you obviously have to watch the reunion. I'm concerned for the future of this show.
Okay, why?
I feel like I know they've filmed they're filming Denver, and they're filming Nashville. So like I know there's gonna be a couple more seasons because I remember I saw Blake post something about they're doing Love is Blind Denver because he wanted to like nominate what's his friend's name that lives there, the redhead? Elise. He wanted to nominate Elise. And then I did see that they were casting Love is Blind Nashville. So obviously this is sticking around, but only one couple survived this season, you know, like only one really made it and is still together. And I just don't know. I just don't know how much longer this show's really going to work. And it's just not looking good. That's all I have to say.
Okay. So have you been keeping up with like this Jada Pinkett Smith business?
No.
Okay. Really?
Is this a TikTok
she's
thing?
Going on this. Well, she's going on this book. She had a book out and she's going on this whole tour about like promoting the book. And in the book, she's like, yeah, Will and I haven't been married since like 2018 or 2016 or something like that. And they just like are kind of pretend married. And she couldn't believe it when he said, keep my wife's name out of your mouth because she's not his wife and all this stuff. And she just won't stop talking. And I feel like I'm losing my mind a little bit.
Well, I feel like I've been hearing for years that they just have like an open relationship.
Yeah. Here, let's play some of this and see.
I'm really shocked because, mind you, I'm not there. We haven't called each other husband and wife in a long time. I'm like, what is going on right now?
My wife's
name out of your mouth, right? And I'm like, but now I'm really worried for Will because I don't know what's going on.
I'm worried for Will that you're telling people this. The other thing is, she says that Tupac asked her to marry her at some point. All right? Really piggybacking on all this Tupac news. So I found this, which I thought was very, very interesting.
Jada's lying, and I have the timeline to prove it. And I'm literally in the middle of moving. That's why I look raggedy, but I cannot handle these fucking lies anymore. Jada is currently on her Pay Attention to Me tour, and she is making all these wild claims, including that Tupac proposed to her while he was at Rikers. Really? The math isn't mathing, so let's take a look. Tupac was convicted of sexual assault charges on February 8th, 1995. From there, he was sent to Rikers Prison. He transferred less than a month later to Clinton Correctional Facility. And she specifically said she went to see him. This was not on the phone.
Book when I go to see him in Rikers, probably one of the more painful parts. Seeing him there, the condition that he was in and having to leave him there.
Cool. So prior to going into Rikers, Tupac already had a girlfriend named Keisha. He proposed to Keisha, her words, in a September 2011 interview. He proposed to Keisha before he even went into prison. They were already engaged. They got married in April. And in the time that he got sentenced and was taken to prison, Keisha actually moved closer to be by him and be by the prison and saw him on a near daily basis.
When he asked me to get married, he was at Rikers.
So you're telling me that in the 3 to 4 week window that he was at Rikers, engaged to another woman who had moved closer to the prison and was there almost every day, Tupac proposed to Jada. But hey, Jess, you might be saying to yourself, Tupac wasn't known to be a one-woman man. He was no angel. Fair enough. Let's see where Jada was during February of 1995, which was, as we've already established, the only time she would have been able to see Tupac at Rikers since he was only there for less than a month. See, Jada had already met Will Smith in 1994 on the set of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
All right, you get the idea. Jada Pinkett Smith.
This girl is heated on this topic.
I love anyone that's passionate about anything, you know? And the fact that she's this passionate about this. And the other thing that I love is that first of all, like after what Will Smith did, I became less of a fan of his, unfortunately. But I don't know if I've ever been a fan of Jada Pinkett Smith. And like, she like does this red table talk thing, and it just seems like once she wants to burn every bridge, like everyone that's been close to her goes in that show, and it seems like she fucks them all over. And then she puts this out because red table talk goes away, and she just seems like the worst person in the world. and I want her to stop talking. And like, if I buy your book, will you stop talking? Because I'll do that.
Probably not.
Probably not. Do you order Postmates?
Not often, mostly because there's just not many options where I live.
Got it. Well,
LA, like, you've got so many.
Yeah. And we use it probably too much, if I'm being honest. But I imagine like most of our listeners are also using like Grubhub or, Uber Eats or Postmates a good bit. And I wanted to pose this question to the YFTers out there. I just want to know if you guys do this too, because I do it a lot and I don't know if it's normal.
Okay.
When I'm hungover, I need Postmates to be brought. I need food to be brought to me immediately, or I'm going to die. And it's usually a Jimmy John's sandwich. It's a sandwich of some sort. It doesn't really matter. And I am obsessively watching the car, where it is, and how far it is from me, and what is the updated time it's going to arrive.
Oh wow!
And I know exactly when the car gets there. Okay. But I do not go outside to meet the person with the bag because I don't want them to see how much of a piece of shit I am. And does anyone else do that? Does anyone else just wait like for them to drive away, then you go get it? Because you're like, I don't want them to see. I don't want them to judge me because they're like, your fucking lazy ass couldn't drive a quarter of a mile to get this Jimmy John sandwich. Like, what's wrong with you? And then also like, Jesus Christ, like you rich, spoiled, privileged piece of shit. You have to have me go get your shit. And then I don't want them to see me and then be like, ugh, God, you're exactly what's wrong with the world, So I just have to let them go, even though I want the sandwich immediately. And then so anyways, I was just wondering if like the YFTers out there also have this like self-loathing, just like terrible feeling every time you order Postmates when you're hungover because you're just so embarrassed about the person that you've become and you've grown into be, Is that just me?
I think it's just you.
Got it. Well,
I think it's just you. I feel like the only time I use Postmates is when I'm in LA or like when I'm somewhere with no car.
Yeah.
Like occasionally if I'm traveling and I'm at a hotel and I don't want hotel food, I'll Postmates because I can't drive anywhere. And I just don't want to talk to people. That's why I don't go meet them.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. So I'm just an asshole.
Yeah. You're an asshole and I am ashamed of myself. So,
yes.
To each his own.
Postmates really brings out the best in us, doesn't it?
I saw that I'm in a weird spot in TikTok. I'm gonna like kind of dive into music a little bit here. I'm in a weird spot in TikTok where I am. There's these creators, these musicians who are taking like pop songs and then making them sad bastard songs, and I love them. Have you run across this?
Can't say I have.
So this is his name's Corey. I believe he's a national musician. This is him taking the Pina Colada song. If you like pina coladas, I'm getting caught in the rain. You know that song?
Mm-hmm.
And,
oh yeah.
And then making it the most sad bastard song ever. And I just want to play it for everyone because it's so much better as a sad song, if I'm being honest with you.
Really?
I love it.
All right.
So waited with arms. She walked in place. Knew her smile in an instant. And the curves of her face. It's my own lovely lady. She said, oh, it's you. Coming back for a moment. Whispered, I never knew. You like pina colada. Caught in the rain.
I would buy this record immediately, by the way.
Feel of the ocean. Taste of champagne. like making love to
It's so good.
in the dunes of the air.
Fuck.
The lady I look for
Are you crying?
come to me and escape.
So good.
This is insane.
It's so good though, right?
The pina colada.
I saw someone
Yeah,
do it
killing
with
it.
Margaritaville, and someone was like, "You don't know how sad, you don't know how fucking sad Margaritaville is until you hear it sung as a sad song." It is a very sad song. Oh, it's so really. Like if you like read the lyrics, it's like this person is fucking very, very sad. And then I saw this other one.
Wow.
Okay, this is the last one I'll do. But I loved it so much. Least song I'll do. It's from like the 1950s, okay? And it's this Italian singer who wanted to make fun of Americans for their pop music. So he made up a pop song that sounded American, but he doesn't know English, so he just sang gibberish. And it is so fucking good. I guess I am that stupid American, but I was like, this is fucking awesome. Anyways, check it out.
We don't stay in the shoes now, I'll hold the same, then a whole red maybe get the color boss dying. Oh, taking some vibe, we get the cold, baby, stay, yeah, Joe.
I mean, that sounds fucking awesome.
Insane.
By the way.
It's a bop. I mean, that's that song that's so massive right now, that greedy song, it's gibberish.
Well, and
I can barely understand a word she's saying, and it's
I
the
wonder
most
if your
popular
sister
song
does
right
this,
now.
but like I know that like U2 does this. I know that Anthony Kiedis does this. I think even the Beatles did this. Where they'll get melody, and then they'll play it, and then they'll sing gibberish over it, and like you do a voice note to like get how they want it to sound. And then they'll go back and they'll put words in that gibberish to like make it make sense, you know? But they're just trying to get like good vocalization with the melody. Yeah, so like a lot of times when you're like listening to like the Chili Peppers, you're like, this does sound like gibberish. And I think for the most part, it originally was, you know? Anyways.
Yeah, totally. I've definitely heard like demos of Miley's where like it's not that she's saying gibberish, but she's definitely just like saying words that don't all make sense together necessarily. Sometimes they're just filler words for the melody, and then they end up changing.
Yeah,
so I do think that's
very
pretty
interesting.
Common.
The last thing I have is this isn't me being political, although albeit I do not like Ted Cruz. But I guess the Democrats made a like ad against Ted Cruz in Texas or something. And the reason why I like it is because I feel like this is us a little bit. Okay. So anyways, this. Yeah.
Like you and
I?
Like,
yeah, I know.
I'm concerned.
All right. So just check it out.
Okay.
I do every week a podcast. I do a podcast every week. I do a podcast 3 days a week. I do a podcast. I do a podcast. I do a podcast. Last year, I launched a podcast. 2 years ago, I launched a podcast. 3 years ago, I launched a podcast. I do a podcast. My last podcast. Today's podcast or my podcast.
Back to Tonji Brown Jackson's confirmation hearing.
You know, a couple of years ago, I was doing my weekly podcast. My podcast, 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 the podcast, 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 podcast.
Wait, does he have a podcast?
I'm proud of that podcast.
I love it. I think so.
Wait,
we also have a
have a
YouTube show. What I love about that is the entire smear campaign is just him saying he has a podcast. Like nothing against policy or like what he's done or like what he hasn't done. Just like fuck this guy. Too much podcast talk. Oh fuck. Oh, and if you're a Republican, I'm sorry, but you have to see how funny that is. Oh, funny. Fuck. Okay, that's all I got, man.
That's good.
Any music? You want to go out on musics? Podcast. Should we just go out and podcast?
Podcast. Let's see. Good. Let's see here.
By the way, I've been talking about the book I've been listening to called Extraction. It's a 3-part series. I'm on the 3rd book now. It is so good. Cruising. Anyways, go listen to it. RR Haywood. It is so good. It's got to be a freaking show soon. Podcast. Okay.
I don't know if I have any music.
I don't know if I did this, but let's go out. This is the California Honeydrops. Bye bye, baby. I like them. I think you will too. You got anything good coming up? What's going on?
Coming to LA.
Oh, you're coming to LA?
Yeah, LA. I'll be there and live in person next week.
Nice. You can see my new office.
Can't wait.
Maybe.
Let's see. This podcast comes out Friday now, so I'm playing Vegas on Sunday. If anybody finds themselves in Las Vegas for PBR weekend,
nice.
Come on out to XS Nightclub. I'm playing the official after party. Should be fun. And then I'll be in LA to see Wells.
Nice. I got nothing. Sarah's going to be going on vacation. She's going on a bachelorette party, so I'm going to be hanging out with myself. So
chilling.
I'm chilling like a villain. All right, YFTS. Well, we love you, and thanks for listening to our podcast. I hope you enjoyed our podcast. Did you know that we have a podcast?
We totally have a podcast.
We have a podcast. All right, see you guys.
Do we have a podcast?
I think so.
If it's on YouTube, is it still a podcast?
It's a TV show and a podcast.
This podcast has been brought to you by Podcast Nation.